Hi everyone, and welcome back to Teachers Talk Money, where I help teachers master their money in order to give back to themselves. Before we get into my budget for March, please like this video, think of a comment you might want to write, subscribe to the channel, send it to a friend. All of these things help me grow my channel so much. Now, let's get into it. So as the title suggests, I am having sort of a tight budget month this March, which is interesting. You guys know I typically don't feel restricted by my budget very much, and I have a feeling that I will a little bit this month for a number of reasons. So let's talk about some of the things that have changed for me this month. One thing that is different is that my strategy for advancing my lane on the salary scale has changed slightly. So I'm about to finish a 15 credit certificate program through my county, which I have absolutely loved doing for the most part. It has been a fantastic program. It's all about equity in education, which is obviously, I think, the central issue in education, period. And so I've learned so much. And they have an extension program where you can get 18 more credits to get your master's. However, the workload for this program already has been extremely overwhelming to me in a time when I'm also coaching and, of course, teaching and sponsoring the school newspaper and, of course, doing Teachers Talk Money stuff on the side. So I've been feeling very much kind of sad because I had always sort of planned to go on and do the other 18 credits for the master's program, but I just really don't think the workload is doable for me anymore. It's also not as affordable as other options, and it's going to take a lot more time to get to the next lane on the salary scale. So for all of those reasons, I've decided not to go ahead and get my master's, and instead just to take a couple more classes to get my master's equivalent, and then take classes from there to get to the next lane and the next lane on the salary scale. So the good news from this is that my timeline will speed up drastically for getting salary advancement, and the bad news is, of course, that I won't be getting my master's degree, at least not anytime in the next couple of years. And I won't be able to continue with a program that has been immensely valuable, but overall just far too time consuming. So that changed my budget because I'm now putting a different amount of money aside for grad school each month. The second thing that is changing my budget is that I am going to get my commute back in March, at least a little bit. So I am filling in for the girls volleyball JV coach because one of the coaches is out on maternity leave. And we, at this point in time, are planning to start coaching in person at the school where I typically work, outdoors to start. So I am going to be making a little more stipend money, but I'm going to be getting my commute back for at least 3 days a week, and potentially more later on in the season if we decide to add more days. So I'm getting my commute back in March. In April, at some point, we are going back to school. Obviously, that is subject to change. They're changing things on us all the time. But right now, my district is saying no later than April 19th for the group of students that I teach. So I have to start budgeting for gas money once again. Not only will there be a lot of time taken out of my day from commuting back and forth to the school, but I will also be spending a little bit more money to commute there as well. So let's take a look at all the numbers. I'm going to throw you over my shoulder and we're going to take a look at my actual budget spreadsheet. All right, everyone. So here we are in my budget spreadsheet, which of course, if you would like to get this template or my pen and paper version or another spreadsheet template option, make sure to head to the link in the description of this video, teacherstalkmoney.com/budget, where I have all of this laid out for you. And let's take a look at the numbers. So first things first is my income. I am planning for this amount just because I'm not totally sure, but I believe that my deductions for my health insurance are going to increase slightly this month. So it might actually be slightly lower also, which is actually another contributing factor to the fact that my budget is going to be a little bit tighter this month. So on top of the extra grad school money and the gas money having to come in, my take-home pay also is going to be slightly lower. So something I'm keeping in mind as well. My fixed expenses are the same as they have been. My rent is lower because I'm splitting it differently with Brian. Car and renters is still at $82. My phone bill is still $45 every month. Still $10 for my subscriptions, and Hattie is $70 a month for all of her needs. And then my variable expenses are pretty much the same. $210 for groceries, $190 for dining out. And then gas I increased a lot, mostly by taking money from my savings, but also, as you can see, I'm taking money from my other fund. Usually my other fund is $90. $20 of that is going towards me having a doable gas fund for this month. And of course, my utilities are staying at $60. Now let's take a look at my savings, because these are what have shifted the most. Namely, I am contributing more per month to my grad school fund. While this is more expensive month to month, $178 is the amount for a 3-credit course. So I'm looking to put aside that amount each and every month, just so when I'm ready to take a couple of courses in the summer, I have money there for me to use for that purpose. So it does actually add up to more per month, because the way my grad school program worked, I only needed to save about $133 per month, but it is actually less money per credit. I'm just getting these credits at a more accelerated rate. So for that reason, that increased, as well as my gas money. And I had to decrease a couple of my savings accounts in order to make this happen. So the first thing is that my summer money is staying the exact same, because I need to save this much each and every month in order to survive over the summer without having to work, which is the goal this year. I lowered my business fund by quite a bit. I believe it was about $80 last month. So I lowered it by $30 to add this to my gas and grad school savings. I lowered travel to, mostly I've been doing $100 a month towards travel. Last month it was like $140 or something. So I got a little bit extra in last month, I think, just because of all the windfalls of money through the stimulus check and the third paycheck that I got last month and all of that good stuff. So only $90 this month. That being said, I've contributed more in previous months, and I don't have any upcoming trips that I'm planning for. So while I want to have a really awesome beefed up travel fund, I don't really have that specific goal in mind that's motivating me or making me feel extra stressed or pressured to contribute more to that savings account. So I'm just keeping it around the baseline, but at $90. And I also took out $5 from my gift fund, which I was doing $65 a month, which is more preferable. Like, I'd rather have that $5 in the gift fund each month, but obviously I just had to make it work with 2 major changes this month. So things are a little bit tight. I can't spend as much money on miscellaneous stuff as I normally would, and my savings for my sinking funds, my midterm goals, are getting a little bit tighter as well. Everything is still manageable, so I'm not super stressed, but it does make me feel a little bit more pressure about making sure that I don't go over budget in groceries or dining or whatever it is. And I'm also just having $90 towards my gas fund, because I think that should be enough. In a typical month, in 2019, when I actually had my commute, I would budget $110 for gas, and I usually wouldn't use all of it. That was just a maximum I set, and I usually only spent around $100. And then this month, I'm only commuting 3, maybe 4 times a week instead of 5. So I'm just not sure, and I want to make sure that it's going to be enough. So that's sort of all the changes, and as you can see, it's just a little bit more strict of a budget than I typically would have. A lot of times I'll go over in groceries but under in dining, or go over in other but under in gas, or whatever it is. And those kind of things help me out a lot. But this month I really don't know if I can afford to have that sort of a loose mindset with it. So a little bit tighter. I have to consider in future months, especially after my income changes, to be a little bit lower once there are more healthcare deductions taken out. I have to consider if I want to maybe only contribute 14% to my retirement and have that extra 1% come to my paycheck, or whatever it is. I have to really start thinking about these things if this month does in fact feel too tight. Now, $90 for gas may actually be plenty, and that might be okay. And I can certainly survive and afford to not have super beefed up savings accounts for gifts, travel, and my business right now. So I'm not super stressed. It's just a little bit of a change of pace from what I'm used to, just sort of being like, I budgeted for plenty of money, so I can go under in some categories and I'm not feeling too stressed. This is a little bit more strict and on the ball. So I have to see how this month goes to see if I need to make any changes to my automatic retirement contributions. And I think that's really everything. And everything else you guys know from my other budgets. I do have more updated notes here. So I have my running total of how much I've contributed to my Roth IRA now, and that is $2,775, which is awesome. I'm almost halfway to having it fully funded for 2021. Completely due to just the fact that a lot of the windfalls of money that I had planned for this came early on this year with a third paycheck in January, a stimulus check, some of my stipends being paid out in February. I'm hopefully going to do my taxes soon and get a refund soon as well. So hopefully that will be fully funded before we even go into summer, which would be awesome. And of course, I have more updated notes for grad school, which I mentioned before. It is $177 per 3 credits. So I need to take 10 classes to get 30 a year, which is, of course, $1,770 per year. And 9 credits get reimbursed each year. So 531 of that will be reimbursed as well. So really, it's more like, I think, 1,200. But I'm just considering what I need to pay outright, and then that reimbursed money can go towards future classes or just towards another savings goal. I've got the information for the money I need to live over summer, and that is what I'm currently saving for now, and I'm on track to get there if I can continue the savings rate for my summer money. And I have all my stipend info. This I need to update a little bit because while this was the amount I got after tax last year, I'm getting a lower amount this year because some of it's going automatically to my 457 because it comes in as a paycheck and not just like its own thing. So I need to update what these are after tax and after my 457 deductions. But I believe that all in all, it will be around $5,000, maybe just a little less, which is awesome because that's almost getting the maximum contributions to my Roth IRA right there. So I think that is everything. If you have any questions, please comment below and ask me any questions, or if you need advice or want to share something about your budget or a money win that you've had recently, I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for joining me here on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you got value out of seeing my monthly budget, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!